This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Well, a wave of voter intimidation in Arizona is putting election officials on watch, and this is all because of the Republicans continuing to push the big lie. My name is Brittany Page, and I am filling in for Jesse Dollemore as he continues his recovery from colon cancer surgery. He is now home and doing well, and I think he's back on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, he's at Dollemore, and you can see updates from him there. Now, let's get to this news in Arizona because there are now armed people dressed in tactical gear standing guard at ballot boxes doing watches. And we now actually have surveillance video of this intimidation. And this is scary because I want to remind you that the majority of those in the Republican Party actually believe that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. You may remember this graph that I put up a few days ago in one of my other videos. According to data from the Public Religion Research Institute, while less than 3 in 10 Americans, 29%, agree with the statement that the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump, 2/3 of Republicans, 66%, agree that the election was stolen. Now, this is scary because with this large number of Republicans that believe the election was stolen from Donald Trump, they're easier to mobilize to stand guard at ballot boxes like we're seeing in Arizona, to intimidate voters, to violate the civil rights of voters. And things are pretty scary in Arizona as far as election deniers being on the ballot. You have Carrie Lake running for governor, prominent election denier, a prominent person who's appearing with Donald Trump, allied with Donald Trump. You have Mark Finchem, the nominee for Secretary of State in Arizona. And remember, the Secretary of State is a position that oversees elections. So this is particularly terrifying, having someone set the rules, count the votes for elections, being an election denier. Mark Finchem, he has pushed to eliminate machine counting of ballots and to empower state lawmakers in the oversight of elections. Read Republicans, empower Republicans. He's attended the Stop the Steal rally and introduced the resolution to decertify the 2020 election results in Arizona. So he questions the legitimacy of the 2020 election with Donald Trump, but the 2022 election where he won his primary, apparently that one's all good. You know, all the issues with the massive fraud and the ballot problems, yeah, that all went away between the 2020 election with Donald Trump and the 2022 election where he won his primary. Not a problem when they win. So the natural consequences of all of this, of Republicans continuing to push the big lie that Donald Trump won the election and that his win was stolen from him, well, it's this. It's armed men in tactical gear showing up to guard ballot boxes in Arizona. And one complaint this week, as reported by the Washington Post, there's a group of people hanging out near the ballot drop box, filming and photographing my wife and I as we approached the drop box and accusing us of being a mule, said the report, which was written by a voter in the Phoenix suburbs and obtained by the Washington Post. They took photographs of our license plate and of us and then followed us out of the parking lot in one of their cars to continue to film. So this mules reference is a reference to Dinesh DSouza. You may have heard of his film 2000 Mules. It's a conspiracy theory film. Dinesh DSouza, you may remember, was pardoned by Donald Trump in 2018. This after a sentence for committing campaign finance fraud. So Dinesh DSouza, close ties to Donald Trump, also a prominent person who is propagating the big lie. So what are these people doing exactly as they're watching the drop boxes? Well, like I said, there's surveillance video that we have now. And in this first clip, the people that are surveilling the ballot boxes in Mesa, Arizona are approached by a reporter. And I want you to pay special attention to their response.
What are you guys doing out here?
You know what? We're just out here watching boxes. And before I make any kind of statement or anything, I'd like to getting a suntan, getting some vitamin D.
So you're getting vitamin D or you're watching the drop boxes?
Both, yeah.
Has anyone responded to you driving through? Has anyone said anything?
Before I say any more, I need to call somebody.
Okay.
So,
Who are you going to call?
give me just a minute.
Okay. What organization are you with?
It's Clean Elections USA.
The man who told me his name is Tom wouldn't say who he was calling. He wasn't alone, so I tried asking this woman too.
I'm not supposed to be having a discussion with anybody about anything. I'm just here.
You're just
taking in the vitamin D.
And you're recording, it looks like.
The vitamin D flying into my body.
You're recording the vitamin D flying into your body. Okay. So are you recording the drop boxes then?
I'm really not able to comment.
Vitamin D, taking in the vitamin D. Yeah, not believable. Obviously not believable. But here's what's so interesting is the secrecy. If you're proud of what you're doing, if you legitimately believe that you are there to stop fraud, election fraud, wouldn't you be proud of that? Wouldn't you say, here's my name, this is the organization that I represent, this is our stated mission and our stated goal, this is a serious problem. I mean, wouldn't you be ready to defend why you're actually filming ballot boxes? I mean, that should be a red flag that you're not willing to say who you are or why you're there. And this is the same exact thing that happened in the next surveillance video that we have, where a woman took the step of actually confronting armed people who were waiting by the ballot boxes.
One woman, a Phoenix area grandmother, decided to confront them.
Okay.
Hey, don't touch.
Why did you decide to go out there?
I'm standing up and pushing back against those people and standing up for everybody's right to vote.
You don't mind if I set up right here, do you?
Without fear of retaliation or any kind of intimidation.
Hi, how are you?
She asked we not show her face because she did this. Went right up in the armed man's face.
You know, I don't talk. I take care of business. I go out there and I do what I have to do.
Nice to meet you.
I push back against these kind of people who are intimidating voters.
He's spitting that in my face. I'm sitting down. He's with a gun standing over top of me.
And I'm standing up and pushing back against those people and standing up for everybody's right to vote without fear of retaliation or any kind of intimidation.
Good for this woman. I mean, it would be terrifying to approach people that are armed in tactical gear, people who believe obvious conspiracy theories, people who are reading tweets from Mark Fincham. Let's read this tweet from Mark Fincham talking about the ballot boxes. Soros does not want people to watch their shenanigans. We must watch all drop boxes because they do not have live cameras on them streaming to the public for people to ensure there is no fraud in the process. And now people are covering up license plates. Nominee for the Secretary of State in Arizona. Pushing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. I mean, these are common tropes that are associated with anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. The allegation that Jewish people control the media, George Soros. It's the anti-Semitism we're seeing exploding on the right now. Kanye West, Donald Trump. Endless with the racist, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. And this is really speaking to the danger within the Republican Party, the threat to democracy. And there's 13 days now before the midterm elections. Have you voted? Did you vote early? Do you have a voting plan? Are you ready to go? Do you live in Arizona? Are you seeing this there? This is really scary. The Republican Party is dangerous, and we need to show up because we need to prevent them from getting into positions of power before, quite frankly, we don't have another option again in future elections because people like Mark Fincham are soon going to be in charge. Hopefully not. Hopefully he does not win. There are other nominees, Republican election deniers in other states, and it is scary out there. The Republican Party is dangerous. What do you think? Call us, leave us a voicemail, 714-576-4054, or you can send us an email to daily@dollemore.com. You can also support the work that we do here. I am filling in for Jesse. Jesse will be back when he is up to it after his colon cancer surgery recovery is completed. You can become a channel member for as little as $2 a month. It goes a long way to support the efforts that we are putting in here to help move these important conversations forward. You can also support us on patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, and we would greatly appreciate any support that you can provide. As Jesse would say, be genuine and take care of one another.